morning, everybody. Welcome. Today is Monday. It's November 14th, 2022. My name is Jeremy. This might burn my face, and this is my first cup. Not quite face burning temperature, but it's pretty close. How are you? How was your weekend? I know many of you were with me this weekend at Free Training Day Northeast, I think everybody, the MATTaC training yesterday. Had a blast, had a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Sad to be headed home this morning, but it's got to get done. Got to get back to the real world, don't we? Good morning to, wow, look at all these people coming in. Mark, Casper, Tommy, Nathan, Kelly, Brian, Dennis, Andy, and all the rest of you, whether you're watching now or perhaps later. Good morning, Gad. Wow, look at that. Look at those numbers. Look at those numbers this morning. Good morning, Jenny. I hope you all got home safely. I hope you are happily decompressing from having so much information stuffed into your brain in between the smiles and the hugs. So let me tell you about today. Good morning, Liz. There are a number of meetings on the books today. From first one's at 9:30 this morning. Last one starts at 6:30. And I took a look and I said, okay, well, if I check out of my room when and make the 2-hour drive, can I get home? Nope. There's not a 2-hour block in between any of these meetings. So as soon as I'm done here, I'm in the car. Car is almost entirely loaded up anyway. So I'm going to get in the car and drive home for my 9:30 meeting, which doesn't seem that far off from a normal Monday, right? Do first cup, do a few things around the house, and have a 9:30 meeting. Mark says FTD, my new favorite holiday. And Dennis says, how do you spell awesome? FTD and E. I hope those of you who are unable to attend will attend next year. There are already plans for making it bigger. There are already plans for making it better. It was the biggest one yet. In terms of attendance, in terms of number of sessions. And are there things we can improve? Absolutely. The biggest one, for example, lunch could have gone smoother. Everyone wanted lunch at the same time. That was not efficient. We will figure something out with that, won't we? But there are plenty of other little things that we're working on, and we don't have a date yet, but as soon as we do, we will start promotion and let everyone know so you can make plans. So for those of you who really want to come, you'll have just about a year of notice. Good morning, Stacy. Good morning, Dennis. Dennis is here on Twitch. There we go. And Liz is here on Twitch. Jenny says, I'm already planning my class for next year. Oh, I guess I should ask first. Can I present again next year? Andrew and I will talk about that. I'm not going to unilaterally say that. It is rare that we just assume that, because here's the challenge. Here's the thing we have to figure out. Everyone wants to teach at our event. We have to say no to people. And I am not aware of anybody who did a poor job or even a less than good job. So that makes it hard, right? If there were some people who kind of, stunk it up, we could quietly just not invite them to teach again, but we'll figure it out. There's all kinds of information gathering that we have to do. Teaching slots, or I should say presenter slots, usually go out midwinter. Stacy says, time enough for Liz to get ready. That's funny. What else can I tell you about the weekend? I think it was also the first time that this event was profitable, which is pretty significant. So for those of you who use the group code to rent your hotel room here, we had just enough people to cover my room. So I didn't have to pay anything to be here. Well, it's not anything, but I didn't have to pay for the hotel, which was one of the biggest expenses historically. We even got Andrew a room for a couple nights just to keep him around here and disturb his family less as he was coming and going late at night. The VIP bundles were a hit. I have like 4 of those left. If somebody wants one, I'm not going to put them on the website, but if somebody wants one, if you want another one, just let me know. We can do that. And so now we shift into holiday mode. There will be some holiday promotions coming. We'll see what happens. Tommy says that Andrew kept up too, being next to him. That's funny. And Stacy missed the Milkman book. I want another. She means Millman, Dan Millman. Like 8, 9 people received autographed copies of Dan Millman books. There were autographed Chris Casamassa books in there. I think we had a good 20 past guests submit material for the bundles. There's an episode that will come out not this week, but I believe next week, where Andrew and I spend an hour showing you all the stuff going into the bundles, talking about the guests, talking about the process, giving you behind the scenes. It was a heck of a lot of fun. So that'll come out. What else? I think my favorite thing from this weekend is that more and more people are seeing what I see. Seeing not only the need for what we do, but the value in doing it and willingness. They have a willingness to participate. It's not always easy, right? Sometimes when you see the world a little differently, people aren't always keen on joining you, and it takes some time, but went well. Saturday night, we did the first ever award ceremony, not for Free Training Day, but for the Never Settle Awards, the Whistlekick Never Settle Awards. 2 of the winners were in the room, which was awesome. I've got a couple plaques I got to mail out, which is totally cool. There were some emotional moments, and people liked it. We'll make it even better. And I would imagine that we will award them again at Free Training Day Northeast as we expand Free Training Day Northeast and make it even bigger. And we'll figure it out. I do want to just blanket thank everyone that came. I want to definitely thank and recognize Andrew for all of his hard work. Anytime you do a thing and you don't have to worry about the things you're not doing because you know the person doing them won't let them drop, that's a nice thing. I haven't had very many people like that in my life. So the fact that I get to work on this with Andrew and he is like that is huge. Stacey says, yes, there were some emotional moments all weekend. Tommy says, autocorrect hates me. We're not on speaking terms anymore. Oh, you guys, so much fun. And of course, a lot of attention, especially the collective attention of Andrew and I, turns to All In Weekend, which still has a few slots. And if you want one, you should get one because it's going to be awesome. If you trust the awesomeness of what we do, you should go to that. Oh, pardon me. Starting to lighten out. I caught something on Facebook saying it was snowing in Burlington, or there was snow in Burlington. I don't know the details. Could have been just a few flakes. I could also be driving home to a snowstorm. I don't know. What's the temperature? In Keene right now, it's 33, so entirely possible. Yeah, I don't know what else. I don't know what else to say. If you guys have specific questions, you can go ahead and ask because, well, that's what Frank gave us to talk about. Tell us about Free Training Day. I'm telling you all about Free Training Day. We had, I would say, a little more than half of the presenters were first-time presenters, which was terrifying for me. They all crushed it. About half the people in the room were there for the first time. There were people that had been there 4 or 5 times. Nobody's been there every time, except for me. Jenny says, my feelings are too big. I can't find the words to express what is happening in my heart. And it's funny because people, if you haven't been, you look at that, like, why is a martial arts seminar event so emotional for people? I've been to plenty of these, not just for training day. I've been to plenty of events that are similar. None of them are emotional. Maybe it's emotional if I, see someone I haven't seen in a long time, but this is a powerful experience. And the biggest difference is the fact that we don't charge and we don't pay. And that means the right people get in the room. Or I should say rooms, because there were 4 rooms. And by having the right people in the rooms, really cool stuff happens. Kelly asked, what's the official number of participants? I don't know. I have to go through the registration forms and count, because that's what we're doing for an official count. Dennis says the quality of the instruction, every single class was top of the line. What an event. And I want to thank and recognize Dennis and Paul for stepping in. We had one presenter couldn't make it. She was on a flight back to Vermont, got stuck in Philly, and messaged us in the morning and just said, or maybe it was late Friday night, I don't remember. Anyway, April wasn't able to make it. She was bummed. I was bummed. And so Andrew and I talked about it and looked at what she was going to present. And I wanted to keep it as close to that as we could for people who had planned ahead. And said, I know Dennis and Paul can tackle this. Let's see if they'll do it. And of course they said yes, and they jumped in, and thank you to both of them for that. Mark says it's all about the people. See, people. It's all about the people. Stacey says, still processing, want to post today. This is a powerful experience. It changes all of us. And it says it's such an emotional event because it's the most unique martial arts gathering, period. So for those of you who have been multiple times or the first time, if you're willing to write something up that we can use in marketing for next year, if you can just send that to me, by the end of the day would be great, because I know emotions fade and it becomes more difficult to write that kind of stuff over time. So I'm going to challenge you, if you really feel that strongly, please send me an email or Facebook message, and Andrew and I will collect them and we'll use them periodically through the year. So this is decaf. I had decaf on Saturday as well. 2 creamers, 2 pats of butter. This time, a packet of sugar. I haven't done that in a very long time, but it tastes super good. So the coffee is not that good, but the sugar helps. What else can I tell you? I'm thinking mentally. I want to shout out Sarah, Chris's wife, for running a booth. It was the first time we ever had a whistle kick booth, and there were some things that went awesome about that. There are some things that could have been done better, and we will make sure that we do those better, because I think that's the beauty of this event, is that we just look and say, okay, what can we improve? What can we test? We always test things. Some of them work, some don't. We always improve things. You know what we tested that worked really well? We added a classroom. Not because we just needed extra space, but we added a classroom for actual sit down at a desk and learn things at a whiteboard or on a projector. And those sessions, I saw some sessions that had 30 people, which as a percentage was roughly an eighth. No, more than that. 7th, 6th. It was about a sixth of the people at some sessions. So people liked it. I think the worst attended classroom session still had 10 people in it. And that's pretty cool. That tells me something I had been theorizing, at least in our audience. People are willing to learn about martial arts subjects academically, sitting in a chair. And that opens up so many possibilities for us, especially since this event takes place at a school. Kelly said, so hard to leave yesterday. I get it. Saying goodbyes is tough. And the more people I get to meet, the more people that become special and folks that come back year after year, the more difficult it gets. There was a gentleman who showed up. I don't think he was there last year. He's been a couple times before. And I'm not going to name his name. He's someone that most of you, I don't believe, know. So I think I'll do okay. He's gone through some stuff, some very heavy personal stuff. And I've kept an eye on him from afar. I don't know him well. But he did come. And he'd taken a break from training, and now he's doing something completely different, and it's working for him, and he's happy, and he's putting the pieces back together, and I'm so proud of him. And we had a couple really big hugs. So on the off chance you're watching, you know who you are. Kat says, martial arts, part study, part play. Well said. Stacy says, I think that the classroom sessions I attended were amazing discussions. Yep. And Dennis says, was so tough to leave yesterday. Love this Whistlekick family. And Stephen, that's so deeply inspiring. Thank you. Stephen did great. Stephen was inspiring. Stacy says, I'm going through hug withdrawal. No, we do have an episode today. It's Monday. There's an episode today. Let me check on it. Let me see if it's there. Should be there. I hope it's there. Oh, come on, YouTube. Stop trying to get me to do other things. I'm just trying to do this. Okay. So today's episode, 762, with Joe Johnson. This is a great episode. So once in a while, we have people come on, and they are people who I know personally. And they are also people who don't think what they will have to say is of any significance. This is one of those episodes. Joe is very, reluctance not the right word, but maybe unsure. He's someone I've gotten to know at competitions, and he is one of the kindest people I know. And that becomes very significant when you hear his story. I hope you check it out. It is up on YouTube, so it should be in the podcast feed as well. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me that hearing this man's story and what martial arts did for him is anything short of incredible. Because it is. I will fight you. Fight you if you disagree. Not really. Maybe. Probably not. I like doing episodes like this one because as an industry, we recognize celebrities, right? We talk about the martial arts actors or the competitors. We talk about kids. And here are all the good things that martial arts does for kids. Great. Absolutely. What about the people who start later in life and it changes them? Having a kid grow up in martial arts, which is my story, is wonderful. I started training so early. Martial arts didn't change my life. There was nothing there to change. I was 4. It made my life, and I'm happy about that. But I think the stories of changed lives are much, much more valuable because there are so many people out there who would benefit from a life-changing experience. And the more we can tell these stories, maybe more of us will be able to help others find opportunities for those changes. Kelly says, the older I get, the more I want and need to challenge my brain more than body. So loved the idea of classroom sessions. Stacy says, it does just as much, if not more, for those of us who started later. Yeah. Yeah, this is what we do that is best. It is we take something that could be better and we make it better. We help people better their lives. Plain and simple. When I think about the things that we do as WhistleKick, right? Podcasts, this counts as a podcast. Free training days, because there's 3 of them. How many are we going to have next year? I don't know. I would guess at least 3. The best stuff that we do is free. Free training day is free. People have a hard time wrapping their head around that. It's free. It is one of the best things that we do. In its category, it is, frankly, the best version of that style of event I've been to, and it's free. How do we pull that off? By making it a little better every year, by doing the right things at the right times for the right people, by not being worried about short-term success, which is rather a martial arts principle, isn't it? And you hear stuff like that in Joe's episode today, this idea that I'm just going to keep showing up. I'm going to see what happens. I'm going to trust the process. Free training day, I trusted the process. I knew we would get there. I had no idea when we started this event how it would pay for itself. Early on, I justified it as, okay, well, it creates some exposure for the brand. Yes and no. Most of the people in the game already knew what we were doing. I'll look at the download numbers for today's episode. Unless Joe promotes the episode, numbers won't be that different. Maybe a little bit. Maybe we picked up 5 or 10 new listeners this weekend. That's not much. But I knew eventually, if we did the right things, a path would open up. And it did. We got paid so you could eat tasty food. We had sponsors this year. We sold those bundle bags. We sold a few things online at whistlekick.com using some exclusive codes, which might be active until later today. But eventually, you do the right things long enough and you get ideas and you try them, and some of those work. Gad says he started at 11, and because of his love for martial arts, went to study Chinese at university. Because of that, had the chance to go to Taiwan. Because of that, met his wife. Says, I owe everything to martial arts. Powerful. About free training day, Dennis says, the mental aspect is a critical component of martial arts. The classroom track was a tremendous addition to an already great event. Thank you. Tommy says, people do have a hard time wrapping around the free concept. I get it all the time. He teaches for free. Kelly says, I love watching people break their first board, and most think it's best to watch the kids. But in my opinion, watching an adult is more magical because of how often an adult has been faced with things they believed or were told they couldn't do, and the board represents that, and how excited and amazed they are, and often teary-eyed. There were a lot of tears this weekend, like so many tears. I cried like all weekend. Tried to hide it, didn't work. Tried. Powerful stuff. Yeah, this coffee just needed, like, I probably could have even gotten away with half a packet of sugar in there. So here's what I'm going to ask of you. If you came this weekend, if you attended any of the free training day sessions, if you feel so inclined, please write something up and email it to me, jeremy@whistlekick.com. I would appreciate that. If it's something you want to share privately, please do that. Just if you think it might not be clear, hey, this is just for you. Okay. I hope you will make a commitment to return. If you haven't been, I hope those of you who have been on the fence and said, oh, someday I hope to get there, will read these words that other people are saying and recognize that this is an event that unless you can experience it, it becomes very, very difficult to understand. There is power in this event in a way that I don't see elsewhere. This is not just a training event. This is an experience. Honestly, if you had to choose between all-in weekend and free training day is the better experience. Even though it's one day, it is powerful in a different way. We take all-in weekend, we run with it, we get a little more focused. And there are some things that we can do with smaller numbers and everything, and it's great. I love that event. I'm very happy we're going to reprise that. But until you can experience it, you're not going to get it. You might think you understand what it is. You don't. And that's something that I am proud of, that we can put on something that is such substance that it defies description. Steven says, when I think back on Free Training Day Northeast 2022, I'm sure the sound of eruptive and joyous applause for Kelly's award win will be the longest lasting. Tommy says, lots of tears. Yeah, it was a mess. Then it says, trial and error. Tommy came at me with a running hug and I dropped him. I'm no giraffe. Steven says, also, what shenanigans went on in that hotel room of Jeremy's that the left lampshade behind him was so askew? Poll closes at noon. Okay, honestly, I was trying to get light to come this way better and backfill, but it didn't work. So that's the truth. I'm sorry there isn't a better story. Tommy says, this event is a lot like so many techniques. You have to feel it. Gad says, we're going to start winding down. My Chinese religion professor once told us when we were discussing Chinese martial arts that a Tai Chi master should instruct for free. That is the tradition. It's up to the student to show appreciation, but the master can't demand it. Oh, interesting. Stacy says, hey, I actually got a photo of me that I love. That's almost impossible. Yeah, that's a pretty good photo. Like that's a really good photo. All right. Go check out Joe Johnson's episode. If you have photos from this weekend that you are willing to share, please send them my way. Please email them to me, Dropbox, iCloud, whatever, so I can collect them all. We will use some of them next weekend or for promotion for next year. Stacy, I'm sure you have the everybody photos, and we'll get those going at some point soon. I'm sorry you weren't in it. We'll have to Photoshop you in. Thank you, Andy. Andy says, have a safe trip home and a wonderful day. Kelly says, Stephen Watson gives some of the best hugs. I would agree. I appreciate you all, whether you attended anything this weekend or you didn't. Simply being here means a great deal to me. We had I'm looking at the numbers. We've seen 20 on the simultaneous viewer count. We don't usually get that, so that's pretty cool. People are all pumped up. And just stay tuned for more good whistle kick stuff. And I'll see you tomorrow. Take care, everybody. Peace.